Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. Like many of you have been doing, I did a lot of work from home today. In my case, that means I get to watch baseball. I got to hear an awful lot of national media talk about your Cleveland Indians, who clinched a spot in the playoffs with a come-from-behind walk-off homer by Jose Ramirez, 5-3 over Chicago last night. These national guys seem to think the Tribe has a better chance to win it all than many of you, and you've been watching every game. And they're basing it mostly on the schedule, and the majority think that Shane Bieber is going to start and win Game 1 for the Tribe. I'll take my chances with that, as long as Ramirez keeps on hitting. More sports and Les Levine is on the air with Dennis Manoloff. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Wednesday night, middle of the week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into its 25th year, powered by cleveland.com. Wednesday night means the D-Man, Dennis Manoloff, is with us, the jack of all trades in Cleveland sports. Hello, D-Man.
What's up, Les? Great to be on.
Great to have you, as always. At least the first couple of segments, we get to talk about our favorite sport. That would be the baseball. And, of course, the Indians with a big stride last night, coming from behind. 5-3, a winner. Jose Ramirez hits the two-run homer after Francisco Lindor fell asleep, but that's another story for another day. You wonder how big leaguers do that. They don't watch where the ball goes. It should have been a triple for Lindor.
Well, but Les, I would amend that, though. I don't think he fell asleep as much as he thought he had a home run. He thought he had hit it.
That's
and it just kind of died and hit off the wall. But Josie picked him up, and what a moment that was. You had a feeling if Cesar Hernandez could get on by hook or by crook, he wound up walking, that Ramirez at the plate was going to make something happen. And, of course, he did in dramatic fashion. Yesterday, and indeed this entire series, a showdown in my mind of the numbers 1 and 2 MVP candidates, Jose Abreu of the White Sox and Jose Ramirez of the Indians. Well, Josie gets the last laugh last night, and he very well might be in the lead in some people's minds.
I don't think so. I don't think that's the way it's going to come out. But you know what? If he keeps staying hot here in the next 2-3 weeks, that's all you need. It's interesting because in baseball you say just get to the postseason and see what happens. Never more than that. Never more than right now. Is that true?
That's correct. It really is the Wild West. I mean, the National League has so many questions as to who the final 8 is going to be in the expanded playoffs. The American League, we know who the final 8 are going to be. Tampa and New York out of the East, Cleveland, Chicago and Minnesota out of the Central, and then Houston and Oakland, or Oakland and Houston out of the West, plus the Toronto Blue Jays. So there's your 8 teams. The question is, what is the seeding going to be? Because believe it or not, the Central Division is still in play. The Indians have closed to within 3 of the White Sox.
And the Indians I think what are they, 6-2 against the White Sox right now. So the edge at this point would go to them. What do you make of this? I mentioned in the opening, I don't know if you were able to hear it, the national guys seem to be more afraid of the Indians and their chances than the local people who've seen them almost every game. Why is that?
Well, I mean, I guess they look from afar and they see this dominant pitching, and the national guys haven't had to suffer through, what is it? Is it still 24 games less of 2 or fewer runs?
Yeah.
They might have snuck one in behind my back and made it 25, but I think they have 24 games of 2 or fewer runs scored. So we've had to watch the offense on a daily or nightly basis, whereas the national guys haven't. So we're wondering, how are they going to score enough to win playoff games, even as good as the rotation is?
Hey, D-Man, have you ever heard anything on Terry Francona, if he's actually still calling the plays or calling the rotational question or the batting order? Have you heard anything about that?
I have not, Les, and I haven't heard any more, any less than anybody else other than those inside the walls at the corner of Carnegie and Ontario. It would stun me if Terry Francona returned to the dugout this year. I find it hard to believe that he would be dropped in after more than a month of inactivity, at least as a manager, and all of a sudden be expected to manage in the high stress, pitch by pitch stress environment of the postseason. So I think that Sandy Alomar is going to take this thing to the finish, however long the Indian season goes.
Well, it's interesting. It's been so long that Francona's been out. He was out when the Zach Plesac thing came along. So he hasn't been managing since before then. It's a long way to go.
That's true. And here's what's interesting, for what it's worth. All the wins and all the losses are credited on Terry Francona's account. So he gets credit on his managerial ledger for another winning season. He might get credit for a division series, a division championship if they somehow run down the White Sox. And the reason I mention that is because it would only bolster his Hall of Fame resume, which I believe is good enough anyway. But you just add another season, another winning season in Cleveland, and that's good for Terry Francona.
All right, so the Indians clinched their 4th postseason berth in the last 5 seasons. If they told you that 5 years ago, I know we're upset that we haven't won a World Series, but I think most people would take 4 out of 5 years, wouldn't they?
There's no doubt. I mean, of course, we have to be realistic and we have to be fair, and there's no doubt that it helps to be in the American League Central. I mean, let's be honest about it. In the American League Central, it seems as though one or maybe 2 teams, if not 3. I mean, a couple of years ago, you could make a case that the Tigers, the Royals, and the White Sox were rebuilding. So it helps that you're in the Central, but at the same time, the Indians have not gutted it and said, we're going to tear down to the studs and start over like some of these other Central Division teams. And therefore, they remain competitive for playoff spots or, whatnot, division titles, wild cards. And that's a good thing. That's a credit to the Indians for retooling instead of rebuilding.
It's interesting because the Indians have such a young pitching staff, yet you go around the league, depending on who they're going to play. If they're going to play the White Sox or the Twins, these pitchers have pitched against them already, and that shouldn't be a problem. But for the most part, the Eastern teams, the Yankees, the Tampa Bay, and strangely enough, the Blue Jays, you throw them in and then go to the West, and you've got the Oakland A's, you've got Houston. The Indians have not faced these guys. What's the advantage, not facing them or facing them if you're a young pitcher?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm really glad you brought that up, Les. In this 2020 season, as bizarre as it's been in so many ways, another element of wackiness is the fact that, you didn't play a host of teams that are in the playoffs, unlike in other seasons where you would at least see them for a series on the road and a series at home. Now you're going in there cold. You don't know who you have. I mean, the Indians, when was the last? Well, they would have faced Garrett Cole when he was with the Astros. But you think about some of these guys that they would not have seen for at least a year. As far as the advantage goes, I really don't know. I mean, I think it depends on the makeup of the pitcher. It depends on the quality of the stuff that the pitcher has. In other words, Shane Bieber, he's a young guy, but he has really good stuff and really good moxie, and I don't think you intimidate him when he goes out of the mound. So he thinks I can beat anybody with my best stuff, whereas maybe a guy who is more of a mix and match pitcher who might not have an incredible season behind him, maybe the advantage is to the other team because he isn't able to go out there and say, I'm going to dominate you today.
Is there, given all the 8 teams that'll be in the tournament, I'm calling it.
That's a great term.
Yeah, is there somebody that you'd rather have on your side than Shane Bieber?
I mean, that's the great question there. I mean, I know that Garrett Cole is going to be nasty. You figure that, and That's a tough draw for whoever gets the Yankees out of the box, has to deal with Garrett Cole in game one. Other teams have other studs at the top of their rotation. I mean, you think of a Lucas Giolito for the White Sox, maybe Barrios for the Twins, Yarborough or Glasnow for the Rays. I don't think of any stud dominant pitcher for the Blue Jays. Maybe I'm missing something there, and the Astros, what do they have? McCullers, Verlander's out, Cole's gone. So there are a few sprinkled in there, but I really like the fact that it certainly feels like this is going to be wide open once the playoffs begin in both leagues.
Do you also get the impression, as I do, that Game 3 in almost every team except the Indians, Game 3 becomes a bullpen game? You got to win 2 out of 3 to advance.
True. You're right. With the Indians, you figure Bieber's 1, and then either Plesac 2, Carrasco 3, or Carrasco 2, Plesac 3, depending on maybe the matchup. You think about if the Indians were matched up against the Tampa Bay Rays. I love the fact that Carlos Carrasco would be pitching at the Trop, where he's had a ton of success. So maybe I want him in the 2-hole instead of the 3-hole. But the Indians don't have to worry about a bullpen game in that first round, whereas a team like maybe the Blue Jays would, or even the Rays, who perfected the opener, as it were, maybe they're going to do it no matter what. And I forgot to mention Snell for Tampa Bay. Remember Snell, who said he didn't want to pitch? Well, he's back, and he's doing all right. So that's going to be interesting. But who knows, even with starters as good as Carrasco and as good as Plesac and Bieber, who knows what the leash is going to be in a short series, because we've seen Terry Francona pull the plug on good starting pitching early in games to create matchups, even if those pitchers, like I said, have a name recognition or a resume. In a short series, managers are not hesitant to pull the plug on them.
Well, yeah, I had a discussion with somebody who was telling me the lack of talent this particular manager had, because he didn't recognize situations like that. You just made a statement that we watch every day with Terry Francona, and according to my source, this guy that he was talking about wouldn't be able to stay in the same ball club as Francona based on his elementary moves. And you and I couldn't sit here and guess which guy it is, but when it was explained to me what he was talking about, I saw it as clear as a bell.
Right, and Les, here's the other thing, another great point you brought up. Terry Francona is a terrific manager. He's one of the best, if not the best managers in the game. So you are going to miss him. Now, Sandy Alomar Jr. as acting manager has done a very nice job in his stead. But in the playoffs, you really, really like having Terry Francona with his ability to mix and match in terms of his pitching. I thought he was a maestro in 2016, and unfortunately he just ran out of healthy bodies by Game 7. But he's a guy who is not afraid to go get a starter in the 4th inning if the starter's in trouble. He loves to use his bullpen in series, and he knows when to use it. So Francona will be missed for sure in the postseason.
Yeah, I thought they'd have a problem with the new rule, the 3-batter rule, but it didn't seem to affect either Alomar or Francona over the first season of its use. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/moresports. Les Levine with new content posted each and every day. We post a question in the morning, you respond to it all day long, and we read them on the air later that night. More Sports and Les Levine, powered by cleveland.com. The D-Man Dennis Manoloff with us, and we'll be back in a moment.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Maurice, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Let's take a look at the birthdays for today. Here you have the Marty Schottenheimer, seen on the left. Of course, what a career he had here. Just couldn't quite get it over the hump. Chase Around, sort of related to Chase Young, maybe. Marvin Lewis, Ricky Davis, Matt Kemp, and Joba Chamberlain, the Midge guy. What a night that was down at the old ballpark. Today in sports history, brought to you by Smiley One, Tiger Woods, and that's in 2018, captures both his 80th PGA Tour win, his first tour win in some 5 years. What a career that guy's had. 216-575-0403. And by the way, right now at Smiley One, making it easy to invest in a new heating or cooling comfort system without breaking your budget for a limited time. Take advantage of their special financing, 36 months on select Bryant high-efficiency equipment. They make it easy for your family to stay comfortable all year long. Call Smiley One for more details. The D-Man, Dennis Manoloff, is with us. D-Man, the all-star chances of, well, I think Jose is going to win the MVP award. I just don't know if it's going to be Jose Ramirez or Jose Abreu. Which Jose is it going to be for you?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be Abreu because I'm thinking the White Sox do, in fact, hold on and win the division. And with a division winner and a guy who has put up the numbers that Jose Abreu has put up, he certainly deserves it. But that said, Jose Ramirez has made a heck of a case for himself, especially in the past few weeks. And his numbers, certainly his WAR, wins above replacement, right up there with anybody in the league. And here's the reason why I believe Jose Ramirez has a really good case, not just because his statistics are glowing, but relative to his team's production. I mean, Les, you think about how bad this Cleveland offense has been. Jose Ramirez, you look at his RBI and his runs, and I know you could subtract the home runs from the RBI or the runs, take one or the other. But when I added them up last night, 86 out of, 430 something? I mean, he's responsible for 20% of his team's home runs RBI and runs.
I'm surprised I'm surprised they didn't walk him last night in the 10th.
I hear you. And that's a concern, Les, as bad as as much of a rut as Carlos has been in, it's a concern they're not going to pitch to Jose in the postseason. But let me go back to something else. Ramirez entering tonight, 17 home runs for Jose Ramirez. His team had hit just 55 home runs. That's it. He has, 30% of his team's home runs. Think about that. I mean, that's staggering.
What about Cy Young? There's nobody that can even sniff at Bieber, right?
No, Biebs is going to win the American League Cy Young. I'm hoping
unanimously.
It's my personal campaign for Bieber. I want him to win the Major League Baseball pitchers triple crown, which is wins, ERA, and strikeouts in all of Major League Baseball. It is one of the rarest feats in pitching. It's more rare than a perfect game that you're able to lead the major leagues in wins, ERA, and strikeouts. As of today, entering today, he was number one in the majors in wins. He's number one by far in strikeouts, and he was barely ahead in ERA. There are a few guys that he has to fend off for the ERA title.
Who was the last one? Was that Hernandez of Detroit that was the last one who did that?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly who it was that's done it. I mean, there are a number of guys, certainly since 1930, who have done it in the respective league, meaning the American League or the National League.
But not together.
But as far as Major League Baseball triple crowns for pitching, incredibly rare, and I don't remember the last one to do it.
D-Man, we have a special surprise for you on the phone.
Biebs?
No, not Biebs. He's busy. But Mr. Gullible isn't, so he called the show. Hello, Mr. G.
Gullible.
Love you guys. Hey, D-Man, Mrs. Gullible wants to know what that interesting painting is above your fireplace mantel. It looks really cool.
Check here. That's a painting of the Cleveland skyline, I believe. That's my wife's, so she loves it.
Very nice. It's very pretty. Mrs. G pointed that out. D-Man, you know I love you, but you're killing me. You probably got my text over the weekend when you were on the big one.
Yeah, what were you on my case for?
What?
What were you on my case for?
You're falling in love with these beer league softball rules. The 3-batter rule, the runner on second base in the 10th inning, the 7-inning doubleheaders you were discussing Sunday.
Why don't we make them 3 innings? They'll get home faster.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, these rules are not speeding up the game, and they're not going to lure anyone who already doesn't like the game of baseball. These gadgets, these gimmicks aren't going to win anybody over. And, D-Man, I want you to know I really respect you very much and your baseball knowledge, but, man, that's 3 strikes right there. I just can't go along with you on these.
Well, Mr. Goebel, I'm not saying you have to go along with me, but let me throw a few things out at you. Universal DH, would you agree or disagree? That is the right thing to do.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it is, and I was young when they instituted that, so it really didn't affect me that much in 1973.
All right, so we're good on that. The 3-batter minimum, I barely noticed that. I kind of like the fact that you're forcing a reliever to stay in there more than 1 batter. And I'm not even worried about time in that case. I'm saying it's a challenge to make sure every pitcher is capable of pitching to at least 3 guys. The 7-inning doubleheaders you obviously disagree with. I say it's okay as long as it's a 2-for-1 for the fans. You cannot charge the fans two times for 7-inning games. But if a fan goes to a ballpark for a Sunday, let's say 4 or 5 Sundays over the course of 6 months, and gets 2 games for the price of 1, minimum 14 innings, you can't argue with that, can you?
But the owners will never go for that. Once the camel gets his nose under the tent, the whole camel's going to come in. The owners are not going to give up a gate. And the 3-batter rule, I mean, that just flies right in the face of Tito's wizardry using his bullpen. I mean, you got to use his mental capacity to figure out how to use these relief pitchers, and it just handcuffs them. The game could get. I even remember Les earlier in the year when they instituted that rule. Les saying, you know, you give up a walk and a double and another base hit, you lose the game in an inning.
But Mr. Gold, you know what though? I haven't heard, maybe Les has, or you have, but I haven't heard very many, if at all, players complaining about.
You know
the
what?
three-
You know what I was concerned about more than what Mr. Gullible said? I was more concerned about the guy starting at second base, a bunt and a fly ball, game's over. That's what I was concerned about. But it turns out that's fool's gold. None of those guys can bunt.
Yeah, nobody can bunt anymore. I mean, they lost the art of bunting that we used to see in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Switching gears real quick, do either of you guys think that Delino in the Shields is a butcher in the outfield? I've tried to put off doing that, but he just seems to misjudge a lot of
He does it so artfully.
What are you doing?
He just flows right into it. It's unbelievable. Took me 30 years to find out he was the I man. Unbelievable. Well, by the way, DeShields is not a good outfielder at all. I still think he's Oda B. McDowell, but that's different.
Well, and let me address the other thing. I know Gullible's losing respect for me on the rules changes. I will say this. The man on second with nobody out in extra innings has been less painful to me than I thought it would be. That said, I still don't want to see it in the postseason. I'm pretty sure we're not going to see it in the postseason.
Oh, they can't change rules. They can't change rules They can't change rules midstream.
So you think it will be a postseason rule as well?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is one then that I wish would not be part of the postseason, because I'm okay with it in the regular season. I'm not okay with the postseason. Maybe you call me a hypocrite for that. But Delino DeShields Jr., fascinating, because he's pretty darn good coming in on balls.
You hit one over his head, he's done.
But you hit it over his head, and he has trouble judging it.
Although he made one of the great catches of the year right up against the wall a couple of weeks ago. Quickly, how much pressure to put on Lindor to step it up? Are you okay with him just going with the flow right now?
It would be nice if Frankie Lindor had a spectacular postseason. I mean, you can't expect to go very far when your supposed franchise stud is hitting 268 with 335 on base.
How much money do you think he's got riding on a good series versus a bad series?
Somebody out there is going to pay him what he wants to get paid, but
no matter what happens.
I mean, like I said, I wouldn't say he's helping his cause, but knowing how baseball works and knowing how Lindor's name is recognized in the game, somebody's going to pay him.
Let's take a break. 216-575-0403, Northeast Factory Direct. 3 great locations, plus the website you see at the bottom, northeastfactorydirect.com. More sports and Les Levine continues in a moment. We are powered by cleveland.com.
Wow! Get Nature Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Yeah, they're really good up front. It's the challenge for us. The game starts up front, and we have to bring the intensity. They got great players. Obviously, Chase Young, high draft pick, but he's playing like it. He's proven why they chose him so high, and then they got guys all around. It's not just him. So we have to find completions, get the ball out, establish that run game, and not let them be the game wreckers.
It's so early, in the season, early in his career, but he's played on both sides. He's gotten home. He's applied pressure even when he doesn't get home. He makes plays in the run game. He makes effort plays. He makes plays just off of size and strength and power and quickness. So I think it really runs the gamut in Mary Kay.
I think it's impressive. You can see what he was in college, obviously, and to see how that's translated so far for him into the NFL, it's impressive. It's a tough transition for anybody, but he's doing an awesome job, and I think he's going to be a great player in the league for a long time.
Are they moving him around some, or do you think, will you guys find him all over the place, and so everybody has to kind of be ready for him?
Yes, their entire front, they do, especially, with the DNs. You can see them on both sides, right and left, and so both me and Jed, definitely have to be prepared to see just about anybody over there.
D-Man, against Baltimore, you had a situation where J.K. Dobbins just had a great day on the ground, and then you got Chase Young coming in, both Ohio State guys. They had to initiate some kind of a rule like they did in the '60s in the NBA, where you had a territorial draft. Are you familiar with that at all? Territorial draft is the reason the Cincinnati Royals were able to get Oscar Robertson and also Jerry Lucas because of the territory. You're an Ohio State fan, and you gotta root against them. That's tough to do.
Yeah, and remember how the Steelers seemingly every year would pick an Ohio State player, and he would torture the Browns. But
and Ohio State never even sent guys down to their players' day, coaches' day.
Or the Browns did, yeah. Chase Young, the Predator, is definitely going to be great, and he's somebody you got to worry about. That front for the the Washington Football Club.
Right.
That front is going to be something that the Browns are going to have to be cognizant of.
The Browns have to be cognizant of the front. It works the other way, too. Washington's football team has to be concerned about what the Browns are going to do on the ground. It's kind of this is an ultimate chess match.
Sure. And listen, I like where the Browns are right now for a number of reasons. The fact that the Redskins are not where they're going to be, anywhere close to where they're going to be under Ron Rivera. This team is rebuilding, even though they probably don't want to use that term. They're young at very important positions. You think about the defensive line with Chase Young, and you also think about quarterback position with Dwayne Haskins, also of Ohio State. But Ron Rivera will have the Redskins humming sooner than later, but not right now. So the Browns get them at a good time. They also are coming off of one of their more impressive victories in a long time, given that they achieved such incredible balance. You talk about 219 passing yards, 215 rushing yards. I know it was against the Bengals. The Bengals defense is not very good, but anytime in the NFL you're able to go over 200 yards in both rushing and passing and virtually have identical numbers, then you've done serious work.
All right, on your way out the door tonight, D-Man, you go find the change jar. You owe a quarter to the change jar because you used the former nickname of the Washington football team.
Wait, I just used it again?
No, you used it at the beginning of your what you were saying before. It's a quarter.
Yeah. I'm very sorry about that. Are they officially the WFC, the Washington Football Club, or are they
that football team in Washington?
Football team in Washington.
I don't know if there's enough room on the standings to have that whole thing.
Ron Rivera's Rugrats, Chase Young's Youngins. I don't know, but the bottom line is Washington is a team that you have to at least pay attention to because they are coached by Ron Rivera. But this is a game that the Cleveland Browns should win.
All right. What is the key for that to happen, for the Browns to win this game?
Well, I'm going to say it right out of the gate. This might annoy some people who think Baker Mayfield is the greatest quarterback ever. Baker Mayfield, in my mind, is best suited as a game manager, and I know that term itself drives people crazy. Why would you draft a quarterback number 1 overall to be a game manager? A game manager can still make important plays to help you win. And Baker Mayfield is expected to do that. But when I say game manager, I mean he has Chubb and Hunt behind him. Those two guys can provide such complementary football that Baker Mayfield should not have to throw 40-plus times for 350 yards a game. And the less Mayfield has to do, the better off the Browns are going to be. Baker Mayfield, to me, it just feels this way, Les. I think the Browns are best suited when he throws anywhere from 18 to 30 times max and doesn't exceed the 30 number, and when his yardage is in the area of 200 to 300. But the point is, you don't want to rely on Baker Mayfield to win you games possession after possession when you have two outstanding running backs like the Browns do.
And when you talk about game management, you also mean on a key third down situation, convert on the third down and then bring it back in, and you don't have to convert till the next third down. Just keep that drive rolling and pass when you have to pass, but don't make it a total passing game. I think you hit it right on the head.
Well, you're right, Les. And listen, the game manager is capable of putting up really good numbers, which is what Baker did. They weren't high volume, but they were tremendously efficient. He averaged 9.5 yards per attempt against the Bengals. He threw the pick. Yeah, he made a mistake there, and he also made a mistake with the intentional grounding. But other than that, he was nearly flawless. And you also have his quarterback, his total QBR. It's a rating that I really pay attention to, more so than passer rating. ESPN has used it, total quarterback rating. It's on a scale of 1 to 100. His total QBR against the Bengals was, I think, 98.1. I don't believe he's ever had a total QBR that high. So he's capable of being really, really good and affecting a game without having to go high volume. And that's what you saw against the Bengals.
216-575-0403. You can email us during the show at realleslavine@gmail.com. And tomorrow night, Dan Lobby will be here from cleveland.com. We'll talk Cleveland Browns again. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Les Levine, with new content posted each and every day. More Sports and Les Levine continues in a moment with Dennis Manoloff, and we are powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Browns Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get texts sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. and it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
I think the biggest thing is just confidence. I think for him, just coming into the league, moving from right tackle to left tackle, that alone is a tough transition. And then not having any preseason games, that's a whole nother one. Just being out there and not seeing anybody but your own jersey in front of you. But luckily, we have such a good defensive front. That was a great challenge for him. But I think just getting out there, being in the game, having the shots fired at him, you can really see him fighting back and figuring out and really gaining confidence every week.
Do you feel like he's kind of settled in and that, as good as Washington's front is, that he's ready for that?
Yes, definitely. He's prepared, and I'm excited to see what he can do out there this week.
Yeah, these guys are going to present a challenge for all five of the offensive line, the tight ends, the running backs. Jed in particular, I think we've kind of talked about him. He's been taking coaching. He's been performing. At times he's a rookie and he's going to make a mistake. We understand that. And then it's just, can we teach off of that mistake? Can we learn from that mistake? But he's definitely getting coached. He's definitely taking the coaching to the practice field and to the game field.
Yeah, man, I think that what they were just talking about symbolizes what is different about the game today than back in the day. That I remember having a discussion with Doug Deacon, and he said it used to take 2 or 3 seasons to line yourselves up with your line mates on left side, right side, and you didn't think you had a cohesive unit until maybe a couple of years into it. Now they throw guys in and they expect them to play from day one.
Yeah, you're 100% correct, Les. And, I'm glad the Browns have a pair of tackles, the caliber of Conklin and Jedrick Wills. But I'll say this, though. Kevin Stefanski, man, I was all about show me, don't tell me. I had fallen for you don't wear brown and orange, you don't matter. I fell for the whole thing with Kitchens. I got burned there. So I said, well, I'm going to wait to see on Stefanski. I'll admit it. My Browns fandom is already coming to the surface. I'm buying what Stefanski's selling.
You sold out. You sold out already.
Here's the thing I like about him, Les. His team gets trucked in week 1. They don't look good at all, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't panic. He doesn't sound panicked. He doesn't, at least publicly, criticize anybody. He takes it on himself. He says it's on me. And we've heard that before, granted.
Yeah, most of it phony when they did that. Most of it was.
Well, right, but you know what? With Stefanski, though, he showed me that he learned from week 1 by his game plan and his play calling in game 2. Granted, there's a world of difference calling plays against the Ravens, who are arguably the best team in the AFC. I know that they and the Chiefs are going to play each other this weekend, but the way the Ravens looked through first 2 weeks and the Chiefs stumbling a little bit in that overtime victory against the Chargers, you can make a case the Ravens are the best team. We'll see on Sunday. But the point is, it's a lot easier to call a game against the Bengals than it is against the Ravens. But Stefanski did a terrific job, and here's one of the reasons I liked him. Odell, week 1, it looked to us on the outside like they had forgotten about Odell early, and then they tried to force it to him. They, of course, denied it. But in week 2, what did we see from Odell Beckham Jr.? We saw him produce in the flow of the game. It wasn't like Stefanski was saying, you know what, I got to keep Odell happy. I got to throw him the ball 12 times. 6 targets, 4 catches, 74 yards, a very important touchdown catch on a long pass down the left side. But you never felt like the Browns were sitting there going, we got to get 13 the ball. We got to get 13 the ball. And what happened? You had a terrific game plan. It was egalitarian. It was spread out. Everybody contributed. And you didn't hear any complaining afterwards because Odell didn't get enough touches or Jarvis didn't get enough touches. That's how it's got to be for the Cleveland Browns.
Okay, 2 questions back to back. First one is going to be, what impressed you the most about the Browns through the first 2 games, and then what concerns you most about the next 2?
Well, what impressed me the most through 2 games is obviously Nick Chubb. I mean, Chubb is just a stud. That's all there is to it. And his, Batman and Robin, if you will, with Kareem Hunt, those 2 guys were they were a force against the Bengals. The Bengals had no answer really for Chubb and Hunt. Maybe they thought they could bottle up Hunt or Chubb a little bit, which they didn't do, but maybe they thought that going in. And then Stefanski hits them over the top of the head with Kareem Hunt, especially in the second half, and they don't know what to do. So I would say the running backs impressed me the most. And also the line, the O-line as a whole, I think, has given Baker Mayfield a chance to make plays in both games. Granted, they had a tough assignment against the Ravens, but it's not like Mayfield was under siege against Baltimore. So there you go. I mean, Brian and the research staff, 2 sacks allowed, and I would imagine the pressures are down too. I don't know exactly how many pressures were allowed over the first 2 weeks, but that's impressed me. What concerns me is certainly the defense. Ravens were able to do pretty much whatever they wanted to do on offense to the Browns defense. The Bengals were able to move the ball with a second game quarterback in the NFL, Joe Burrow. So I'm worried about that defense, especially the second and third levels. Granted, they're getting some guys back, so that'll help. And then what else? Oh, yeah, the age-old issue special teams. Disaster against the Ravens included the extra point missed and the field goal missed. Okay, so you sub out Seibert. But against the Bengals, what did we see? The failure to kick the ball out of the end zone. The Bengals got a couple of cheap returns past the 40-yard line, and there were a couple of penalties on special teams as usual. This unit, the special teams, has got to play better if the Browns want to go anywhere.
I know that Stefanski and the special teams coach worked together in Minnesota for a couple of years. Prefer. I'm not sure that that's going to last. If the push comes to shove at the end of the season, I think friendship and loyalty may change a little bit, because I got to believe that if you don't have a great offense, you don't have a great defense, there's no reason why you can't have good special teams. And the Browns haven't had that for so long. I can't remember the last time they had a good special team group.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll point to some time in the last 5 years where they were ranked in the top 12 and something. Yeah. But it feels like that special teams, whether it be extra points, field goals, or punt return failures, punt return coverage, kickoff failures, kickoff return coverage, something is always breaking down with the special teams. One part of the special teams, maybe more, but it seems like every week at least one. Here's a concern, though. What I want to know is, why can't the Scottish Hammer, with as powerful a leg as he has, why can't he be the kickoff guy?
Well, there hasn't been a kickoff. When was the last time you had a kickoff and a punter being the same guy? It's Steve Cox with the Browns, maybe?
Well, yeah, that's true, but at the expense of not kicking it out of the end zone. I mean, if Parkey is not able to kick it out of the end zone, then you got a chance that you're giving up field position on every kickoff, and I just don't want to do that.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come on back. We'll finish up on whatever we've missed. Northeast Factory Direct. They've got the guaranteed lowest price option for you. If you find something in the next year that is less money than what you paid for it there, they'll refund the difference immediately at all 3 locations, plus the website, northeastfactorydirect.com. More Sports and Less Levine continues into its 25th year, powered by cleveland.com.
Never replace your basement flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Pearl Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
With the threats we have, I mean, when you can get the quarterback out in space and you get the defense worried about the run, it's just going to give him a lot more time, get him in a position where he's not worried about just having to sit back in the pocket. I mean, that's tough for any quarterback that's just going to sit back there and has to worry about the offensive line holding up. I mean, when you can change it up on the defense and make them think we're going to be out of the pocket. So then in the situations where you do have to sit back, they're a little bit slower. It's not going to be a collapse of pocket as quickly and stuff like that. And, he's really doing, you can really see him starting to grasp the offense on Thursday night. And I'm excited to see what he can do the rest of the year with it.
He said he has a lot more confidence in his protection this year than he did last year. Has he conveyed that to you guys, how much better he feels about it?
Definitely. I mean, he's always honest about getting, just about working hard and understand the playbook and knowing everything. And, he's a great leader, and he's always got confidence back there. You can feel it.
Absolutely. I think we're all into a routine now. It works for us, and it helps to have the Thursday game and have a little bit extra prep. It's just we don't have a lot of film to watch. You said the Eagles and the Cardinals game. So, but yeah, we found a routine. I think everybody has, but especially speaking for myself, I have.
D-Man, when you hear him like that and being in control like that, do you think that that's maybe he's talked to Stefanski and they kind of worked out how his personality is going to be in front of the microphones? Because he seems a little different, much more likable now than he might have last year. And, of course, part of that is the way he's playing.
Les, I don't know that he needed Stefanski to talk to about it. I thought he was making that progress on his own, and he was showing us a different Mayfield, a more humble Mayfield. You know what? I can't even imagine how difficult it is to play quarterback in the NFL. Astonishingly difficult, because you have to not only have the physical skills, you have to have the mental skills, you have to have the psychological skills. I mean, it is an amazingly difficult job to do, or so I am told. But what you can't afford to do, from what I've been able to observe, is have your confidence dented and come back really like, oh, I'm going to try my best and I'm going to do what I can to help my... No. You can be humbled, but you have to remain confident, because your teammates are going to see that. And they look to the quarterback to have 100% command of the huddle. They don't want some little guy coming in there going, oh, we'll do the best we can. No, they want their quarterback to go in there and say, we're going to win this game. We're going to go down the field and we're going to score. And I think what Mayfield has done is he's given you the combination, the hard line to walk, the combination of humility, off of last year's failures, but also maintaining his confidence, maintaining his edge. It's just not as overt and it's not as annoying, but it's there. And you want that from a quarterback.
All right, it's a small sample size, 2 games in the books. One a blowout against you. What would you how would you grade Baker out for that? Is how much responsibility is it for the loss against Baltimore and the win against Cincinnati and vice versa?
I mean, to me, what I saw was a failure in week 1, and a D or an F, a D- or an F+. It just was not a very good performance. And by the way, he wasn't the only one. There were problems everywhere on that team, including the head coach. Tough way to open a season, granted, against the Ravens, but everybody needed to be better on the Browns.
But they got it out of their system.
What I saw in week 2 was an A+. I saw the type of quarterback play that the Cleveland Browns need if they are going to win consistently. I think that the type of performance you saw from Mayfield against the Bengals, last Thursday, that would have translated against a lot of teams. Maybe not the Ravens, maybe not the Steelers, but it would have translated against a lot of defenses in the NFL.
All right, we're going to come back one more time. I will remind you, I did pick a loss week 1 and wins week 2 and 3. Just while that streak is still alive, I got to remind people. Tell me, D-Man, when are you on 1100 WTAM in the foreseeable future?
Got a lot. Thursday night after the game, Friday in for Triv, Saturday post-game show, and then Sunday Browns and Indians post-game show.
When you say you're in for Triv, you're talking about the full show?
Yeah, 3 to 6, and then I also have the Indians Insider, the Tribe Insider, 6 to 6:30.
What has happened to my little baby, who I babied through the current roughness of this business, and look what you've done. Look what you've done with it. Good.
I'm trying, Les. If I can live up to half your standard, I'll be good.
Good for you, D-Man. So proud of you. Let's take a break. We're coming back one more time with Dennis Manoloff exclusively right here.
Wow! Get Nature's Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature's Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature's Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Dan Lobby, cleveland.com. He's the one on the left. He'll join us tomorrow. You see us live from 6 until 7 Eastern Time, 6 until 7 p.m. And you can archive it all day long. And, of course, we'll respond to it all day long also. The voicemail of Truth and Reason, you can call 216-200-6650 if you want to leave a message for us when we're not on the air. All right, D-Man, you're going to be here next Wednesday, which means the Browns will have played Washington already and will be getting ready for a trip down to Dallas. What do you see in the Washington game?
I see the Browns winning. I see the Redskins having an issue trying to handle Chubb and Hunt. And I'm looking for another solid to really good game from Baker Mayfield. And I think the defense will be able to make some plays to help out as well, because that Redskins offense is young and inexperienced.
Okay, you have 3 quarters now because you had the one nickname early in the show, and then you just had 2 in the last paragraph.
Did I do it again?
Twice.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so sorry.
Let's roll the tape.
It's ridiculous. I apologize, NFL and everybody else. I don't mean to say the R word.
It's going to
The
take a while.
Washington football team.
All right, D-Man, great job as always. Good luck with 1100 WTAM, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
Thanks, Les.
D-Man, Dennis Manoloff. All right, that'll do it for us. Dan Lobby tomorrow. We'll see you then. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.